this job, OS will do this job. So select some from among the processes in memory and that are ready to execute and allocates the CPU to one of them. That's what. I have multi-programs, right? So CPU now has to perform multi-programming, right? So what is it I will do? Whatever the process I have, whatever the multi-programs I have, that I'll put it in a ready queue because I want to execute in user mode. Fine. So among these multi-programs, I have P1, P2, P3, P4, so on. So which one I will select based on the requirement? I am going to select, and there are so many algorithms. Whether I will go with first in, first out, first come, first serve, or I will go with the higher priority. So all that we will be studying. So based on that, from the ready queue, CPU will select. OS will allow the CPU to select one of the job, and it will start executing. So now CPU time is allocated for each and every process which are put in the ready queue. Right? Then it will execute. It is going to complete executing all the process one by one. Right? So CPU scheduling decisions may take place when a process. These are the situation how the CPU will take the decision that which time should be allocated to which process. So last class we have studied about some state diagram, some 5 states. What are those? Initially a new state, then run state, ready state, wait state, terminate, all that you have studied. No? So maybe a switching of the CPU time take place. CPU will switches between these states. Which are those states? Case 1, it can switch from running to waiting state. Maybe it is executing the instruction in user mode. Then it wants to attend the request from the kernel mode. Then what exactly it will do? It will give the control. CPU will be given to which mode? Kernel mode. Then whatever the jobs I have in ready queue, they have to keep they have to kept in a waiting state. Fine. Then same way, switches from running to ready. So without resources, I cannot continue with my execution. Maybe it has to go for ready state. Some resources are to be allocated. Switches from waiting to ready. So before it was in waiting state. Once the resources are ready to be given, then I will move on to ready state. Then once the job is done, the final state, I can go for termination. So it goes to terminate state. So based on these things, 1 to 4 steps, any of these cases, I am going to decide whether whether the OS will go for a type of scheduling as non-preemptive and preemptive. Basically, there are 2 types of scheduling that OS will allocate the CPU time. So what are those type of scheduling I have? One is called preemptive, the second one is called non-preemptive. So let us understand the difference between these two. Preemptive. Preemptive is nothing but postponing. I have some 10 programs. I am started with P1 now. Before I complete P1, I have a request from the external world. So what is that I will do? I will postpone executing P1. I will give the control to some other job, IO device. So my P1 is kept in a waiting state now. So I will complete that job and come back and continue with my P1. Or before I complete P1 within the user mode itself, if P2 or some other job say P3 is emergent, then what is that I will do? I will stop, postpone P1, then continue with P3. So once I finish P3, then I will come back and execute P1. Something like that. Preemptive is nothing but what? Postponing the job. Non-preemptive means what? I will not postpone. What is that I will do? I will take first come, first serve. First serve. If P1 has arrived first, I will complete P1. If P2 has arrived second, I'll attend P2 only after I complete P1. So that is called as non-preemptive. Preemptive means what? You can postpone the job. Non-preemptive means you cannot postpone the. So let us see how the dispatcher will help for the CPU scheduling now. There is a unit called dispatcher. So it is also a responsibility of OS again. So dispatcher module gives control of the CPU to the process selected by the short-term scheduler. Last class we were studying, no? There are 2 types of scheduler, short-term and long-term. And even you can go for middle term also, fine? So based on that, the short-term means what? OS will take less time to respond. Long-term means what? It will take more time to respond. That's what. You are started executing some user mode instruction. Now there is a request from external world. So how fast you attend that request? How fast you give the service? What is the switching time? How much delay? Maybe in the form of millisecond or nanosecond, whatever. So short term means what? The response is fast. So the dispatcher will decide what is the time that CPU will take to switch from the user mode to kernel mode or from kernel mode to user mode. So I call that concept as switching context. Switching context means what? Last class I was explaining the concept of context, right? How the CPU will switch from user mode to kernel mode and kernel mode to user mode. So how much time it will take, the response time. That is called switching context. Switching means what? Giving the control between the user mode and the kernel. Control means which control? CPU control. Giving the CPU time, whether the CPU will execute user mode instruction or kernel mode. How is that? It will switch between the user mode and the control mode, kernel mode. Fine. So that's what the same thing is explained in the next step. Switching to user mode. That's from kernel to user, you can assume. So jumping to the proper location in the user program to restart that program. Same thing. So you have started with some user mode instruction execution. Now there is a request from the IO mode. So what is that I will do? I will go for a switching context process. So what is that I will do? I will give the control of CPU from user mode to kernel mode. Right? Now I am executing IO instruction. That time user mode is kept in the waiting state. It has to wait for the IO to complete. So once I do with that, I'll come back to my user mode. When I come back, where I have to start? I have to restart the same program. So whichever the step I have stopped from that particular step, I'll continue with my execution. So let us understand. Switching context means just moving the control of CPU between the user and the kernel mode. Now let us understand what is latency. Dispatch latency. Latency is nothing but some time taken. What is the period of time? For short term means I explained, no, it will take less time to give response. Long term means it will take more time to respond. How much time it takes to give the control to from user to kernel or from the kernel to user. That is called as latency. The delay between the what? Say for example, anyway you know that with zero delay you cannot give the control. Some fraction of second will take delay for the control to be given between these two modes, right? So time it takes for the dispatcher to stop one process and start another running. So how much time it takes that the OS will take to stop executing the current program and to attend the other program. Fine. So the delay between that, who is that going to do? Indirectly, the OS will do through the module called dispatcher. So the time taken by the dispatcher to stop one of the process and to start another running. That is called lag.